Coffee with Kilroy. This time, a Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturday edition. You're getting a twofer today. And I normally like to call my Coffee with Kilroy segments Beverage in a Book. My beverage, well, coffee. Yours, well, that's up to you. The book, well, the book today is a sci-fi fantasy book. It is Charge Stations, a science fiction roll and write war game for one player designed by Noah Patterson. Now, you might remember that name from some of the other segments I've covered on war game books, where I covered Roll for Omaha, which is by Noah Patterson, and One Page World War II Tank War Ardennes. One of the aspects of Mr. Patterson's games are that they truly are roll and write, meaning that it's a matter of rolling dice and then checking a chart or table and trying to accomplish something based on what you roll on those tables and charts. And those tables and charts have been converted in Tank War Ardennes. It's been converted into kind of a war game scape where you're moving your tank along a grid and encountering different areas and different enemies. In the Roll for Omaha, you are, trying to land on the beach and take over and advance up the beach to take out the German positions. So, I mean, these are interesting. They're very much roll and write, but they have a lot of indices of or trappings of a war game, with the tables and combat results and the like. This one is a science fiction roll and write, so this is going to be space-based. And you can see here micro RPG. That's something that Mr. Patterson's, I think, most known for is his RPG. He has a whole series of RPG books that he puts out, and I believe a lot of them are solo. I don't have any of them, but I think I've looked at a few of them just online, and I think they might be solo friendly or solo based. But he has a lot of RPG type books, and they're done in this kind of print on demand from Amazon type fashion. And this one is one of his latest offerings in this roll and write space. But in space, roll and write space in space. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. Get me some coffee to fuel up and see what we have inside this book. I just got this actually just yesterday. So you have charge stations here. That insignia looks a little familiar. I wonder where he got the idea for that one. So you got your contents here: basic training, order of operations, enemy on the radar, 2 battle stations, fire weapons, enemy fire, test warp engines, and game sheets. And again, this is going to be game sheets, meaning he's going to have, unlike some of the other war game books where there's multiple scenarios or different scenarios in the game sheets, there's usually just one game. In his games, there's usually just one sheet printed over and over again, so you can write on it, then move on to the next sheet. Of course, I don't write on any of these. I use either plexiglass or some kind of overlay, or a lot of times I just make a copy and do it that way, so that I'm not messing with the book. And one way to do it, you make a copy and laminate, and then you've got it for all time. So here are the rules to Charge Station. So you got a little bit of a background here, a little bit of a captain's log or commander's log there. And then it's going to tell you about what is this game. Here's the equipment you need. Of course, you're going to have to supply your own pen or pencil and dice and the like. You need 7 or more 6-sided dice. Understanding the game sheet. So they're going to go over the game sheet here. And basically, you're battling in space, so think of it that way. Order of operations, here's the gameplay sequence. So, enemy on the radar, 2 battle station fire weapons, fire torpedoes, then the enemy fire. So you get to fire first, then the enemy gets to fire. Then you can test warp engine. So I guess you're trying to charge your warp engine up to maybe get out of there. Here's the enemy on the radar. So you got your enemy system scans there. And this is all, of course, as you can see here, in full color. Here's the targeting systems. And there's art throughout here. Rules are not a lot. I mean, it's relatively small print given the size of the page, but there's not a whole lot to that. The pictures and the images take up most of the page, as you can see here. Here's rolling command pool. You got life support here. And again, this is not meant, this is just a page through, just to see what we have in here. This is not meant to teach you the game. I don't know if there is anything out there. Sometimes he puts little vignettes out there to talk about his games or how they're played. Here's fire weapons. Got your targeting systems, and you can see here you're going to be marking off boxes on the chart. Enemy system scan, firing phasers, firing torpedoes. Then you go to enemy fire. As you can see, there's a lot of imagery that's put in between the text. And test warp engines. The final step of each turn is to test your warp engines if available. So I wonder if that's how you get out of the scenario. And here is an example of the board or the sheet. And there's going to be several of these. So the rest of this book is basically these sheets. So so that you're going to be marking off, you know, the enemy systems, the targeting systems. You know, and I wonder if this is like your, wonder if these are just the different enemies, or if this is your shields. I have to read up on that. Here's your life support. Here's your engines, phasers, and torpedoes. And then here's your shields, what it's protecting. So that's it. I mean, there's about, the rest of this book is just more of the same. It's all these charts, but again, you make one copy and you're probably fine there. A lot of ink on that page, I guess, gotta say. So you got about, looks like you've got 19 pages of rules, but a lot of imagery is put in between there, so it's not densely packed, 19 pages of rules. But there you have it. Let's look at the back here. A little blurb about the publishing company. Micro RPG is a one-man indie micro-publisher of entertaining on-the-go game books, role-playing games, and print-and-play board games. Then you got an example of the commander log there, and then the blurb on the game. Charge Stations is a science fiction roll-and-write game where a single player takes command of the USS Frontiersman. It is up to the player to repair the ship, all while fighting off incoming attacks. So I guess that's that warp engine issue. This is done by rolling handfuls of six-sided dice, D6, which represent the ship's crew members, and assigning them to various, well, you can't see that, assigning them to various tasks around the ship. All you need to play is a pencil, some dice, and this book. Sorry for the glare there. So hopefully you can see that there now. And there you have it. That is Charge Stations. That's what I have for you all today on this wonderful morning. And if you're watching this at night, beautiful evening. So I'd love to know what you think about these. What do you think about any of Noah Patterson's war books or war game books? They really truly are the closest to roll and write in that genre out of all the different war game books I've covered. If you want to see more on that, you just check out my playlist down below, war game books, or these are also on my bookshelf too, I believe. And you can get a whole taste of all those down there. If you like roll and write, and this is an interesting way to take it to the next, into the wargaming space, so to speak, especially the other two. This one looked kind of interesting with going into space. If any of you played it, love to see your comments, good, bad, or ugly. If any of you are interested in this, love to hear the comments there as well, or if you've played something else that is better or worse. Love to hear your thoughts and love to see a dialogue started. But that's what I have for you today. Enjoy your beverage of choice. enjoy your day, your evening, your morning, whatever time it is. And thanks for stopping by. Really do appreciate it. And have a good one. Thanks for watching.